Hey everybody, it's Shane Benedict with Native Watercraft, and I'm here to introduce you to the Slayer Max 10 for 2026. We've taken the classic Slayer Max platform and upgraded its electronics capabilities and also enhanced its motor compatibility. We're really excited about the changes, so what I'd like to do now is actually start at the bow of the boat and kind of work our way through, and during that I'll kind of go over the big changes and things that we've upgraded for the next year. So starting at the bow, you've seen this on many of our boats, and that's the gear track gear handle on the front of the boat, so it makes a nice big generous handle, but you can also put in accessories. Some folks use it for a camera, some folks use it for a flag. A lot of different ways you can use that accessory track or just use it as a handle. Moving back, we've got a gear storage front hatch so you can bungee stuff down on top of it, but the real brains are inside. When we go in here, this recess is actually sized for a pretty large battery that oftentimes we'll use for monitors and things like that that are mounted up towards the front of the boat. The other unique thing about our storage area up here is that it has a scupper directly into the transducer pocket underneath the boat. So your cabling goes directly up through that scupper into the battery compartment, and then you can run it to other parts of the boat from there. There is a small accessory bucket up front, which also gives you access to inside the boat to help run wiring throughout the boat. And then on either side of the bow hatch, we've got rod tip covers so that you can store your rods horizontally. You can have a couple of rods, your tips inside the covers, the butts of your rods back on the rod lays. That'll just get you to be able to drop your rods down horizontally so you can go under low hanging areas just to sort of protect the rods. And as we move back, we come to the Propel Drive, which is kind of the heart and soul of Native Watercraft. Comes with a 5-year warranty. It's tried and true. We've been making this thing for, I don't even know, 15 years. I think actually more than that. It's just bomber. The instant forward and reverse is a great companion to fishing because you can move the boat around, troll, while still controlling your rod, working shorelines or trolling out in the open. We've just had such great success, and we love the longevity and durability of our Propel Drive. Moving back a little further, we've got a couple of the other classic Slayer Max components, and that's the electronics plates. Allows us to, just like this one, mount a monitor and power it there. The great thing about them being right here on the side is that you have a front access, a mid-boat access, and then something we'll talk about later, stern access for electronics. Also here at the center of the boat, we have one of our first upgrades, and that is the Wizard foot steering. And what we've done is we've made it compatible with our current setup so that you can install the Wizard system. This system is ball bearing based, and so it's very smooth. You can do very fine-tuned control of your motor as you're moving along. It's an incredible upgrade to add to your Slayer Max 10. Also here in the center of the boat, you'll see the drive cover that has an integrated cup holder or storage area for hooks and things. We've got padded footwells to dampen the sound as well as soften everything. And then on the sides, is kind of a unique feature, is the Plano box storage area. You can lock them in for when you're traveling, but also have quick access to any of the gear that you need. And then moving a little bit further back in the boat, you've got one of our classic Native icons is the forward-facing rod holder. Obviously a little cup holder action here. And then tool holsters on either side of the boat so you can use your fish grips or your pliers or something like that can be stored instantly right alongside the seat. On this side is your steering for your rudder system. I feel a little funny mentioning it, but yes, we have gear track. It's everywhere. It goes all the way around the kayak from the very back to the very front, so you can mount whatever you need to, and like this throttle or this monitor or this rod butt lay. You know, there's so many different ways to use that gear track for whatever you need. Another one of our upgrades for the Slayer Max 10 for 2026 is the swivel seat, which allows you to have super easy access to the back, swiveling around, whether you want to cast to the side or reach for gear behind you. Just having even just a little bit of rotation gives you a much more enhanced reach across the boat. It's also super comfortable and a much quieter ride. And now that we get behind the seat, we've got a few more things to see. We've got an extra handle here, so you can actually use the handle and the Plano box hold to have dual handles as you're lifting the boat up into the back of the truck. Those are on either side. We also have dual rear-facing rod holders that could be used for trolling or just storage, obviously, as you're moving forward, and they can be super quick access, especially with the swivel seat, so you can turn to grab them. The back compartment has enough room for a 13x16 black pack when you also have a battery with you, so there's a lot of room for storage back there. If you don't have the massive battery back there, then you can put any kind of crate you want. And then here you can see we have the rod butt lays that allow you to put your tips up in the front of the boat and then secure the butt of your rod back at the back of the boat. And obviously we've got a bungee system here so you can fasten down whatever it is you need to in the back compartment. And then when we get to the back of the boat, you can see this is a configuration you've seen in several of our boats, but this is a big upgrade for 2026 for the Slayer Max 10. You've seen this storage compartment before. It gives us access into the boat so we can run wiring internally. It allows us to actually run our cabling for our rudder system. And then it's also a little dry storage area. The next thing over is our rudder system. You can see that controls the rudder underneath the boat, and we run all of our cabling through there to control it. And then a new thing for 2026 for the Slayer Max 10 is an electronics plate so that you could run all your wiring through this electronics plate instead of having to have it up on the deck or any other system you wanted to run. So therefore your electronics could go run internally. Say if you wanted to run to the battery at the front of the boat, it wouldn't have to be on the deck. It could be run very smoothly inside the boat, which we think is a huge upgrade, along with a big structural component that we've added to the stern of the boat for the motor. We've been using motors long enough now, we're starting to see that we need to add this structure with these vertical walls. It really stiffens the back end of the boat. And then we've added eyes to run our steering system cords so they go forward to the Wizard foot steering that I showed you earlier, and that gives you a really integrated, smooth, controlled feeling over the motor. And it's always good to have a little backup plan, so we have a split paddle storage back here. You can run the paddles out the back of the boat or flip them around and run them to the front of the boat, either way. And then dual handles, which comes in really handy when you have a motor because you can reach to either side and lift the boat up, not having the motor in the way of a single handle. Which also acts as a gear track if you want to mount other accessories. You know, a lot of times when we're talking about these fishing kayaks, we're talking about all this crazy stuff on the deck, but it's also the hull that's a really important part of the design. The bow of the Slayer Max 10 has a super sharp entry so that you have a clean slicing bow going into the water, but then it flares quickly. And the reason for that is that as you're going through little waves and swell and stuff, that flare throws the water away from the boat, keeping it as a drier ride. Then the next thing that happens is the pontoons come down low and flat and wide so that even though it's only a 10-foot package and 34 inches wide, it's completely standable, very stable, cast while you're standing, move around and get around the boat in a real stable, comfortable way. And then as it moves to the back, you actually can see the rocker rising on either side, and that actually loosens up the back end of the boat. The rudder keeps it tracking straight ahead, but when you want to turn, you want that back end to slide around. That sharp bow kind of hooks into the water, and that raised rocker tail slides your turns. So in the Max 10, you can literally turn within the distance of the length of the boat. It's such a sharp turning craft. So therefore you can maneuver yourself into really small, tight areas and get to where the fish are. When it gets down to it, the Slayer Max 10, the thing that makes it really unique amongst 10 and 11 foot fishing kayaks is how compatible it is, how electronics capable it is. From the very bow with the transducer scupper going through to the transducer recess in the hull of the boat to being able to match right up to a battery in this compartment is very unique in the industry. Then again, in this 10-foot size, very rarely do you see electronics plates on the side that allow you to integrate monitors and throttles right up near the seat where you need them. Having upgraded this year by adding the capabilities of adding the Wizard foot steering, which just makes steering the motor so much more easy, is another huge upgrade for us. Obviously, the swivel seat is massive. Really excited about that. And the final last thing is linking this whole thing together is this stern E-plate that brings power from the back to the front wherever you need to get it. And there you have it, the full rundown of the all-new upgraded Slayer Max 10. We're super excited about this boat, and we hope that you'll like it too. Check it out with dealers near you or at nativewatercraft.com.